The sky above Times Square was full of light and noise like always. Big screens played the same smiling faces on a loop. Capes, catchphrases, perfect hair. A crowd cheered at a stage where a VOT host yelled into a mic like it was a holiday. Behind the stage, a line of cameras waited for the next spontaneous moment. Then the air tore. It did not look like fireworks. It did not look like a drone show. It looked like the sky itself got cut open, like someone dragged a sharp line through the blue. People gasped. Some laughed. Some lifted their phones. A wind hit the street, hot and fast, and loose papers flew like birds. Out of the tear, a shape fell. A young man dropped out of the air, spinning once, then snapping straight like he understood falling. His orange jacket flashed in the sun. His blonde hair stuck up in messy spikes. A black headband with a metal plate caught the light. He hit the ground in a crouch. The pavement cracked under him. A ring of dust jumped up. The crowd screamed. The young man lifted his head, eyes wide, scanning left and right like he expected an attack. He did not look scared. He looked alert, like this was a new mission, and he needed to understand it fast. A car horn blared. A delivery truck swerved. People ran into each other. And right on cue, because this was the worst world for a new arrival, someone on the stage snapped. Homelander floated down from above the screens like a god dropping into a commercial. His cape barely moved. His smile was bright, but his eyes were cold. The host pointed. There he is, our brave Homelander, keeping America safe. Homelander did not look at the host. He looked at the blonde stranger. What the hell is that? Someone in the crowd yelled. Homelander's eyes narrowed. You, he said, voice carrying without a mic. Knees. Now. The blonde stranger blinked. He looked past Homelander, not at him. He looked at the crowd, at a woman who had fallen, at a little kid crying and holding his dad's leg, at a man with a bleeding forehead. He stood up slowly. I don't know where I am, he said, like he was choosing his words. But people are getting hurt. Stop making them run. Homelander's smile twitched. That's not how this works. A piece of metal fell from one of the big screens. Maybe a support got shaken by the sky tear. It swung down toward the crowd like a giant blade. People screamed and froze. The blonde stranger moved. To anyone watching through a phone, he vanished. 1 second he was in front of Homelander. The next second he was under the falling metal, one hand up. He caught it. The metal groaned. His shoes slid back a few inches. Then he pushed it up and tossed it sideways into an empty space between parked cars. It slammed down, loud, but nobody got crushed. The crowd went silent for half a beat. Then everyone started screaming again, but now it was a different kind. Did you see that? Holy, is he with Vought? The stranger's hands flashed through quick signs, like he was playing a game with invisible cards. With soft pops, copies of him appeared. 1, then 3, then 10, then more. They spread out fast, helping people up, pulling kids out of the stampede, guiding the injured away from the danger. Phones pointed at him from every angle. Homelander hovered higher, jaw tight. This was supposed to be his moment. The cameras were supposed to love him. Instead, the crowd cheered for someone else. A Vought drone zipped closer, lens focusing on the stranger's face. A calm voice came through its speaker, smooth like a sales pitch. Unknown individual, it said. You are in violation of federal security protocols. Please remain still. Vought International will provide assistance. The stranger looked up at the drone, confused. On a nearby screen, his face already filled the frame, boxed in by a red warning graphic. Unknown super. Homelander stared at him with a smile that did not reach his eyes. Last chance, Homelander said softly. Knees. The stranger frowned. Why? Homelander's eyes flashed red. And far above them, in the torn air, something else shifted. Like whatever made the tear was not done. Huey Campbell watched the clip on a cracked phone in a dark room that smelled like old coffee and damp clothes. He played it once, then again. Each time, his stomach tightened. "Okay," Huey whispered. "Okay, that's not normal." Billy Butcher leaned over his shoulder, chewing on nothing, eyes sharp and tired. "That's a soup," he said. Huey pointed at the screen where 10 versions of the same guy moved at once. "Soups don't do that. And they don't catch a metal thing like it's a backpack. And they don't—" Butcher snatched the phone. "And they don't show up out of a bloody hole in the sky," he finished. Mother's Milk stood near the door, arms crossed. He watched like he was counting seconds. Vought's gonna call him a terrorist by lunch. Frenchie practically bounced in place, eyes shining. "Ah, but look at the technique, yes? He makes copies. Not like the Speed Man. Not like the shapeshifter. This is different." Kimiko sat on the floor, silent. Her eyes tracked the stranger's movements, like she was reading body language more than power. Annie. January. Starlight stood with her arms wrapped around herself, watching the part where the stranger helped the fallen woman first. Not the cameras, not the stage. The people. "That's a hero," Annie said, quiet. Butcher looked at her like she'd just said the sky was green. "That's a problem," he said. "Hero don't mean good. Hero means someone with power, and power always gets used." Huey swallowed. He stopped Homelander. Butcher's mouth twitched. Or Homelander didn't feel like burning a tourist trap today. Annie stepped closer to the phone. The clip showed Homelander hovering, eyes glowing, and the stranger looking confused but not afraid. Annie's voice got tighter. "Homelander's mad." Exhaled slow. If Homelander's mad, people die. Frenchie tapped the screen like he could poke the stranger through it. He is not scared. Not even a little. Butcher tossed the phone onto the table. Then he's either suicidal, stupid, or strong enough to make Homelander feel small. Huey didn't like any of those options. On another laptop, a Vought newsfeed ran a headline, "Unidentified Super Attacks Viewed Event." A second headline popped up under it. "Vought offers reward for information." Annie's eyes narrowed. He didn't attack anyone. Butcher shrugged. Truth's got no job in this town. Held up a hand. "What's the move?" Butcher's eyes stayed on the paused frame of the stranger's face. 3 whisker-like marks on each cheek. Bright eyes. No fear. No brand. "We find him before Vought does," Butcher said. "We figure out what he is." "And then?" Huey asked. Butcher smiled, and it was not a nice smile. "Then we decide if he's a weapon we can aim, or a bomb we need to bury." Annie stepped into his space. "You're not touching him like that." Butcher didn't flinch. "If he's real," Butcher said, "he's either the best chance we've ever had, or the thing that gets all of us killed." Kimiko looked up at Annie, then at the paused stranger. Her face didn't change, but her eyes did. There was a flicker there, a question. Huey looked from Annie to Butcher. His throat felt dry. "How do we even find him?" Frenchie already had a map up. "Vought will sweep shelters, hospitals, subway tunnels. They will want to catch him where he is confused." Nodded. "So we look where people go when they're scared." Annie grabbed her jacket. "We look where people go when they're hurt." Butcher loaded a magazine with calm hands. "We look where Vought thinks we won't." Naruto ran across a roof because the street below felt wrong. In his world, crowds could be loud. Villages could be cruel. But even at their worst, people didn't clap for someone like Homelander. Here, they did. Naruto had slipped away the second the drone started circling. Not because he was scared, because the air was full of pressure, like an attack was coming from every direction, and none of it was honest. He crouched behind a billboard that showed a smiling Homelander holding a flag. Naruto stared at the face. The teeth were too perfect. The eyes were too empty. In his mind, he heard Kakashi's voice. "Watch the eyes." Homelander's eyes were not the eyes of a protector. Naruto touched his headband, thinking. His fingers found the metal plate. It was scratched, real. It reminded him of home so hard it made his chest hurt. He had fallen through something. A tear, a jutsu, a space-time trick. But he didn't feel Sasuke's chakra. He didn't feel Kaguya. He didn't feel any familiar presence at all. He felt alone. A siren wailed nearby. Naruto's head snapped toward it. He looked down. A small crowd had formed around an alley. 2 men in black tactical gear were dragging a woman out by her arm. She looked like she was trying to crawl away. A camera crew was already there, filming from the sidewalk like this was normal. Naruto didn't think. He moved. He dropped into the alley in a blur. The tactical men jerked their guns up. Naruto took the guns out of their hands in one motion and tossed them to the side. They hit the wall and clattered down. "Hey!" one man shouted. "Back off! This is VOT's security!" Naruto looked at the woman. Her lip was split. Her eyes were wide. Fear and shame mixed together like she had been taught to expect this. Naruto's voice went gentle without him trying. "Are you hurt?" The woman stared at him like he was a mirage. The men reached for knives. Naruto sighed, annoyed now. "Stop it!" His hand flashed in a sign. A clone popped into existence behind each man. The clones grabbed their wrists and pinned them face first against the wall. Not bone-breaking, not cruel, just enough. Naruto stepped between them and the woman, body like a shield. "What is going on here?" he demanded. The camera crew zoomed in on him. A voice called from the sidewalk. Sir, can you tell us who you are? Are you affiliated with anti-VOT groups?" Naruto blinked at the question like it was nonsense. "I'm just helping." A second voice cut through it all, bright and familiar in a strange way. "Hey, blonde guy!" Naruto turned. A young man stood at the mouth of the alley. Brown hair, nervous posture. He raised his hands to show he wasn't a threat. His face said, "Please don't punch me." "I'm not with them," the young man said fast, nodding at the cameras. I'm just a guy." Behind him, a woman stepped into view. She wore a hoodie and a cap, but Naruto could feel power from her. Not chakra. Something else. Like light in her bones. Her eyes met Naruto's. Not hungry. Not cruel. Worried. Naruto's shoulders loosened a fraction. "Okay," Naruto said. "Good. Because this place is weird." The woman's mouth twitched like she almost smiled. Then she remembered where they were. "Yeah," she said, "it is." The tactical men struggled under the clones. "You're making a mistake," one hissed. "Homelander's coming." Naruto's expression hardened at the name. "Good. I want to talk to him." The woman stepped closer, careful. "You don't want that." Naruto looked at her. "I have to. People are scared of him. That's not right." The young man swallowed. "You don't understand. Here, fear is kind of the point." Naruto stared at him. "Then it needs to stop." The woman's eyes flicked up to the roofline. "We need to move, right now." Naruto sensed it a second later. Not chakra. Machines. Drones. A ring tightening. A small buzzing sound rose, like angry insects. Naruto looked up. 4 VOT drones hovered above the alley, lenses pointed down. Behind them, a black helicopter angled in, low and loud, blowing trash across the street. A speaker on one drone crackled. "Unknown individual, you are under arrest. Do not resist." Naruto stared at the drone, then back at the woman and the young man. "Do you know a safe place?" The woman hesitated for half a beat. Then she nodded once. "Yeah," she said, "but you're going to have to trust us." Naruto didn't like trusting strangers. He learned that the hard way as a kid. But he also learned something else. Sometimes you choose to trust first, because that's how you make a new bond. Naruto nodded. "Okay." The woman exhaled. "Follow me, and don't do anything flashy unless you have to." Naruto's eyes widened a little. That's going to be hard. The young man gave a stressed laugh. Same. They moved. Naruto's clones dragged the tactical men into a corner and tied their hands with their own straps. One clone turned to Naruto, waiting for orders. Naruto pointed at the woman. Protect her. The clone nodded and moved like a shadow. They slipped out through the back of the alley into a service hallway, then a stairwell, then up to another roof. Above them, drones tracked. Below them, sirens multiplied. The woman kept glancing back, like she expected a laser to cut the air any second. Naruto noticed. "You're scared," he said. She didn't deny it. "I'm realistic." Naruto frowned. "In my world, if someone scares everyone like that, people fight back." The young man, Huey, looked at Naruto like he wanted to say 100 things, but didn't know where to start. "We do fight back," he said. We're losing." Naruto's jaw tightened. "Then we stop losing." They reached the edge of a roof where a narrow gap opened between buildings. Far below, cars crawled. People looked like ants. Huey froze. Where are we going?" Naruto stepped forward, then paused. "You can't jump that?" Huey's eyes nearly fell out of his head. "No! I'm not a—" The woman grabbed Huey's arm. "We'll take the stairs. He can—" Naruto crouched. "There's no time." He scooped Huey up like Huey weighed nothing. Huey yelped, legs kicking. "Oh my God!" Naruto jumped. To Naruto, it was simple. A normal leap with chakra in his legs. To Huey, it was like the world dropped away. They landed on the next roof with a light thud. Huey stared at Naruto like Naruto had just broken physics. Naruto set him down gently. "Sorry." Huey's voice was squeaky. No, it's fine. I'm going to throw up later." The woman stared too. She tried to hide it, but Naruto saw it. Awe, fear, hope, all at once. Naruto looked at both of them. "I'm Naruto," he said, because names mattered. "Naruto Uzumaki." The woman hesitated. "I'm Annie." She didn't say the rest. Huey nodded fast. "Huey." Naruto nodded back. "Okay. Annie." "Huey. Where's the safe place?" Annie looked at the sky, at the drones, at the helicopter, at the way the city seemed to turn its cameras toward danger, like it was hungry for it. "Not here," she said, "but I know people who can hide you." Naruto glanced back at the big screens in the distance. Homelander's face smiled down over the city like a warning. Naruto's eyes hardened. "Then let's go," he said. The safe house smelled like oil, dust, and someone's cheap cologne. Naruto stood in the middle of the room while the others formed a half circle around him. Billy Butcher stood at the front of that circle like a wall with a grin. Mother's Milk stayed near the door. He had his hands visible, calm, but his eyes were measuring. Frenchie leaned forward with open curiosity, like Naruto was a puzzle he wanted to solve with a screwdriver. Kimiko watched from the side, silent and sharp. Annie stood close enough to Naruto that it looked like a choice, not an accident. Huey hovered beside her, still pale. Butcher spoke first. "So," he said, dragging the word out, "Naruto. That your real name, mate? Or you having us on?" Naruto frowned. "Why would I lie about my name?" Butcher chuckled. "Because everyone lies here." Naruto looked at the room. "That's sad." Butcher's smile got thinner. "It's survival." Naruto crossed his arms. "No, it's cowardice." Huey made a small noise like, "Please don't." Annie shot Naruto a look that said, "He's dangerous in a different way." Naruto met her eyes and softened a little. He wasn't here to fight people who were trying to help. Butcher walked around Naruto slowly, like he was circling a wild animal. "You dropped out of the sky in the middle of Vaught's backyard. You made a bunch of copies of yourself. You caught a chunk of metal like it was a teddy bear, and you didn't even blink when Homelander looked at you." Naruto turned to keep Butcher in view. Who is he? Butcher stopped. Who is he? He repeated, like it was funny. That's your first question? Naruto nodded. Everyone's afraid of him. MM's voice came steady. They should be. Huey swallowed. He's the strongest one. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Strongest what? Annie took a breath. Supes, superheroes, people with powers. In this world, powers come from a drug. Compound V. Naruto blinked. A drug? Frenchie lifted his hands like he was teaching. Yes, yes. Babies get injected. They grow up with powers. Vought owns the story, owns the image, owns the money. Naruto stared. They'd do that to children? Butcher watched him carefully now. The grin faded a bit. And now you're getting it. Naruto's fists clenched. That's wrong. But it's real, Annie said. Her voice was quiet, like she hated it. And if you go out there and punch the wrong person, the whole world will turn on you in one day. Naruto's jaw set. Then we tell the truth. Butcher laughed, short and harsh. Sure, we'll just tell the truth. Brilliant plan. Why didn't I think of that? Naruto looked at him, unimpressed. What's your plan? Butcher's eyes flicked to Huey, then back. We cut the head off the snake. Naruto frowned. You want to kill him. Butcher didn't deny it. Homelander's not a man you arrest. He's not a man you shame. He's not a man you talk to. Butcher leaned closer. He's a rabid dog with a flag. Naruto's voice dropped. In my world, we had monsters too. Butcher raised his eyebrows. Oh yeah? And you gave them a hug and they turned good? Huey flinched at the sarcasm, but Naruto didn't. Naruto's eyes stayed steady. Sometimes, Naruto said. Sometimes they did. Butcher stared at him for a long beat. MM spoke before Butcher could. Where did you come from, Naruto? Naruto exhaled. He didn't want to dump his whole life on strangers. But they needed something. A reason to trust him. I'm a ninja, Naruto said. Frenchie's eyes widened like Christmas. Naruto kept going. I'm from a village. We use chakra. It's like energy inside the body. We train it. We use it to fight and protect. Butcher snorted. Chakra. Naruto ignored him. I grew up alone. People hated me. They were scared of what I had inside me. Kimiko's gaze sharpened at that. Naruto continued. Simple and honest. I didn't let that make me hate them back. I wanted to be someone they could rely on. Annie's face softened. Huey whispered, That's actually kind of nice. Naruto nodded. Then a war happened. Really big. People died. I fought to stop it. I fought enemies who were like gods. Butcher's eyes narrowed. Gods. Naruto nodded again, serious. I don't know how I got here. But if this world has someone who hurts people and everyone just accepts it, then it's my problem now. Butcher leaned back, weighing him. Frenchie raised a cautious finger. Can you show a small example of chakra? For science? Naruto looked at Annie, silently asking if this was safe. Annie nodded once. Small, she said. Naruto formed a hand sign. A single clone popped into existence beside him. Huey still jumped, even though he'd seen it before. Jesus! The clone waved at Huey. Hey! Huey pointed, shaking. It talks. Naruto rolled his eyes. It's me. Frenchie stepped closer, eyes darting between them. This is not illusion, not hologram. It has mass. It has presence. MM watched the clone's stance. You can make an army. Naruto nodded. Yes. Butcher's face stayed calm, but his eyes changed. Calculation. Fear. Want. Naruto saw it. He'd seen it in warlords, in leaders, in people who thought they could own a person if they were strong enough. Naruto's voice got hard. I'm not your weapon. Butcher smiled again, slow. Didn't say you were. Naruto stared him down. You were thinking it. Butcher's smile didn't move. I think a lot of things. Annie stepped between them, like she refused to let this become a fight. We need to focus, she said. Vought is already hunting him. Huey nodded fast. Yeah, they're going to paint him as a terrorist. They did it on the news 5 minutes ago. Glanced at a laptop. They also put a reward out. People will sell him out for rent money. Naruto blinked. They pay people to betray each other? Butcher shrugged. Welcome to America. Naruto looked disgusted. Annie rubbed her forehead. Okay, Naruto, if you go out there alone, you'll get swarmed. Not because they can beat you in a fair fight, because they'll use crowds and cameras and lies. Naruto tilted his head. Cameras? Huey gave a humorless laugh. Yeah, cameras are their strongest power. Frenchie snapped his fingers. Ah, the running problem. Everything is for show. Butcher tapped the laptop and turned it toward Naruto. It showed a Vought press statement with neat bullet points and a big signature. Naruto squinted. What is that? Butcher's grin widened. That, mate, is them deciding what the truth is. Naruto leaned closer. The words meant nothing to him, but the tone did. It smelled like control. It says, I'm dangerous, Naruto said slowly. Yep, Butcher said, and if you smile wrong, they'll say you threatened a baby. Naruto's expression tightened. Then we stop them. Butcher lifted an eyebrow. How? Naruto looked at the room, at the tired faces, at the fear that lived in them like a second skin. He remembered people looking at him like he was a demon. He remembered deciding, every day, not to become what they feared. We protect people, Naruto said. We expose the bad ones. We don't become monsters to kill monsters. Butcher's jaw flexed. That's cute. Naruto's eyes flashed. It's not cute. It's hard. That's why it matters. Kimiko shifted, like those words hit something inside her. Held up both hands again, calming. All right. Principles later. Immediate problem. Vought will hit every place they think he might be. Annie, you're recognized. You can't move openly. Annie's lips pressed together. I know. Huey pointed at Naruto. He can move openly. He's basically invisible at that speed. Naruto shook his head. Not if they track me with machines. Frenchie nodded. The drones saw his face. They have heat sensors, audio, and they have men with guns. Naruto looked at the guns Butcher was carrying like they were toys. Guns are not a problem. Butcher snorted. Guns aren't. The mess after is. Naruto didn't like that. You mean the lies? Butcher's eyes stayed on him. I mean the bodies, mate. The bodies they'll blame on you. A silence fell. Naruto's voice went quieter. Then we make sure there aren't bodies. Butcher watched him for a long time. Then he turned to You hear that? The kid's got a plan. Didn't smile. He's got a rule. Butcher's grin returned. Same thing sometimes. Annie stepped closer to Naruto. There's another thing, she said. Homelander. He won't let this go. Naruto nodded. Good. Huey swallowed. No, not good. He doesn't let things go because it hurts his feelings. Naruto frowned. He hurts people because his feelings are hurt? Butcher's laugh was ugly. Pretty much. Naruto looked down for a second. When he looked back up, his eyes were steady. Then I'll stop him, Naruto said. Butcher leaned in again. And if stopping him means killing him? Naruto met his gaze. Then I'll find another way. Butcher's smile faded. That might get you killed. Naruto's voice stayed calm. Then I'd die trying to be me. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then a phone on the table buzzed with a new alert. Checked it, face tightening. Vought just activated a special response unit. Frenchie frowned. Special? Nodded. Black Ops. They don't wear logos. Annie's stomach dropped. They're coming here? Shook his head. Not yet. But they're sweeping the city. Huey's voice cracked. They're going to find him. Butcher looked at Naruto. Seems you're popular, mate. Naruto didn't smile. He closed his eyes for a second, sensing outward the way he would in a forest at night. He didn't feel Chakra. But he felt something else. A faint pressure in the air, far away, like a storm cloud that wasn't weather. He opened his eyes. Something is coming, Naruto said. Butcher frowned. Vought? Naruto shook his head. Not them. Annie's skin prickled. What do you mean? Naruto looked toward the window, toward the city, toward the torn sky that was no longer visible, but still felt wrong. In my world, Naruto said, when the air feels like this, it means a real enemy has noticed you. The first major hit came that night. Not with Homelander. With paperwork. A Vought representative stood in a bright studio with a serious face and a flag behind her. She spoke like she was reading from a script written by lawyers. Today, she said, an unidentified superpowered individual disrupted a Vought-sponsored public safety event. We are asking all citizens to remain calm and report any sightings. Vought is coordinating with federal partners to ensure public safety. On the screen behind her, they played the clip where Naruto landed, but they cut it right before he caught the falling metal. They showed the crack in the pavement. They showed Homelander looking heroic. They did not show the clones saving people. They showed a freeze frame of Naruto's face with a red circle around it. Unknown, dangerous, foreign. In a different room, Stan Edgar watched the broadcast without changing his expression. A man beside him cleared his throat. Sir, should we deploy the 7? Edgar didn't look away from the screen. Not yet, he said. We don't deploy the brand when we don't understand the product. He humiliated Homelander, the man said carefully. Edgar's lips moved in something that might have been a smile. Homelander humiliates himself. The man hesitated. Our analysts say the subject's speed is beyond our data. Edgar's eyes stayed calm. Then we gather better data. Another aide stepped forward. We have a draft contract. If we can bring him in peacefully. Edgar lifted a hand. You don't lead with a contract, he said. You lead with a problem. Then you sell yourself as the solution. He finally turned away from the screen. Find out what he wants, Edgar said. Home, purpose, friends, anything. The aides nodded. Edgar's voice stayed soft. And prepare contingency options. The room went a shade colder. Back in the safe house, Butcher watched the broadcast and spat into a sink. See, he said, they don't even need to touch you. They'll just make the world hate you. Naruto's fists clenched. They're lying. Huey nodded miserably. They always do. Annie's voice was tight. People will believe it. Naruto looked at her. Why? Annie looked away. Because it's easier, she said. It's easier to believe the story they're already used to. Naruto hated that answer, but he understood it. He had lived it. Snapped into action mode. We move, now. Safe house is burned the moment they decide it is. Frenchie grabbed bags. Where do we go? Another place? Another hole? Butcher looked at Naruto. Where would you go? He asked, if you were a Boy Scout with god powers and no clue how this world works. Naruto frowned. I'd go where people need help. Butcher pointed at him. Exactly. Huey's eyes widened. Hospitals. Shelters. Subway stations. Annie nodded. They'll set traps there. Naruto looked confused. They'd trap people who need help? Butcher's voice was flat. They'll use them. Naruto's expression hardened. Then we protect them first. They moved out before sunrise, not as a team in formation, but as ghosts, slipping between city blocks. Naruto kept his chakra low, the way he did on stealth missions. He let his clones scout ahead, each clone watching a different angle. Huey learned quickly that traveling with Naruto meant never using the front door. Annie stayed close, using side streets and shadows. She hated hiding, but she knew what would happen if she got spotted with him. Butcher stayed back, watching rooftops. He had a phone in one hand and a gun in the other, like both mattered equally. The first trap snapped on a quiet street. A delivery van rolled up too slow. Its back doors opened. A net fired out, laced with metal weights and electric current. It was meant to wrap a soup and drop them. Naruto leaned aside and let it fly past him. It slammed into a wall, sparks jumping. Men in black armor poured out of the van with rifles aimed at Naruto's chest. "Hands up!" one shouted. Naruto raised his hands, palms open. Not surrender. Calm. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. The men didn't answer. A second team appeared behind them, closing the street from both sides. Huey's heart slammed in his chest. He grabbed Annie's sleeve. "This is bad," he whispered. Annie's eyes were locked on the soldiers' faces. "They're not cops," she murmured. "They're Vought." Butcher's voice came low from behind a dumpster. "That's the special unit." The soldiers moved in, slow and trained, like they expected Naruto to throw cars at them. Naruto didn't move. A small dart hissed through the air and stuck into Naruto's neck. Huey gasped. Annie started forward. Naruto's fingers touched the dart. He pulled it out and stared at it, annoyed. "It's poison?" Naruto asked, like he was offended by how obvious it was. Butcher's eyes widened a fraction. "Oh, that's new." Naruto flicked the dart aside. "My body can handle toxins," he said simply. "Try something else." The soldiers didn't hesitate. They opened fire. Not at Naruto's head, at his legs, at his arms, at his chest. Controlled bursts meant to pin him down. Naruto moved. To Huey, it looked like Naruto turned into a blur, and the bullets turned into rain that couldn't find him. Naruto didn't even need a big jutsu. He stepped between the bullets. He swatted a few away with his hand like they were flies. He grabbed one soldier's rifle and snapped it in half. He didn't break bones. He didn't crush skulls. He disarmed. He shoved. He knocked them down with clean hits that stole their breath. "Stop!" Naruto yelled, frustration rising. "I don't want to hurt you!" A soldier rushed with a shock baton. Naruto grabbed it and crushed it in his fist. Sparks died. Then the street got quiet. The soldiers lay groaning on the ground, alive, stunned, and embarrassed. Huey stared. His mouth opened and closed like he forgot how words worked. Annie's breath caught. Even she hadn't expected it to be that easy. Butcher looked angry instead of impressed. "See?" Butcher muttered. "That's the issue. Nobody stops you. So what stops you from becoming like them?" Naruto turned toward him fast. "My choices," Naruto said. "That's what." Butcher didn't answer. Because the air shifted. Naruto felt it first, a sharp pull, a thin, cold thread that didn't belong in this world. He looked up. The sky above the street rippled, faint, like the surface of water. Huey followed Naruto's gaze. "What's that?" he whispered. Annie's voice went tight. "That's not Vought." The ripple split. A small tear opened, much smaller than the one Naruto fell through. But it felt worse. It felt hungry. A figure stepped out like he was walking through a door. He looked human at first glance. Tall, calm posture, smooth face. Then you noticed the eyes. Not angry eyes. Empty eyes. Like a shark that learned how to smile. He floated an inch above the ground without effort. His clothes didn't move with the wind. He looked at Naruto like Naruto was a bright meal. Naruto's body went still, not from fear, but from recognition. He knew that kind of presence. He had fought it. "Otsutsuki," Naruto whispered. Huey didn't understand the word, but he understood the tone. Annie took a step back without meaning to. Butcher's grip tightened on his gun. "What the hell is that?" he breathed. The new arrival tilted his head, studying the street, the soldiers, the city. Then he looked back at Naruto. So much chakra, he said, voice smooth and soft, and in such a small world. Naruto moved in front of Annie and Huey without thinking. He didn't even notice he did it. It was instinct. "You're not supposed to be here," Naruto said. Momoshiki's lips curved. "Neither are you." He lifted a hand slowly, like he was reaching for a fruit on a tree. Naruto felt the pull in the air grow stronger. It wasn't just danger. It was a force trying to take what was inside him. Naruto's eyes narrowed. "Don't," he warned. Momoshiki ignored the warning. The streetlights flickered. The air vibrated. Dust rose from the pavement. Annie's ears popped. Huey grabbed his head. "It feels like pressure," he gasped. Butcher whispered, "That's not a soup." Naruto exhaled once. "Stay back," Naruto told them. "If he touches you, you die." Annie's throat tightened. "Naruto." Naruto didn't look away from Momoshiki. "Trust me." Momoshiki's hand snapped forward. Naruto vanished. A second Naruto appeared above Momoshiki, knee driving down. Momoshiki tilted his head and slid aside like the attack was slow. Naruto landed, spun, and threw a Rasengan into Momoshiki's ribs. A tight sphere of chakra slammed in. For a split second, Huey thought it was over. Then Momoshiki's palm caught the Rasengan. He didn't block it. He absorbed it. The sphere vanished into his hand like it got swallowed. Momoshiki's eyes brightened a little. Pleased. "Yes," he murmured. "That's it." Naruto's expression hardened. "Shadow clone jutsu," Naruto said. The street filled with Naruto. 12, then 24, then more. They formed a ring around Momoshiki, moving in sync, forcing angles, forcing choices. To Annie, it looked like a storm made of one person. Momoshiki looked almost amused. "Many bodies," he said. "One chakra." He spread his arms slightly. A pulse hit the street. Several clones popped into smoke at once, not from damage, but like their chakra got ripped apart. Huey's stomach dropped. He erased them. Naruto's real body didn't panic. His eyes sharpened. He moved closer, faster, weaving through his own clones like water through reeds. He wasn't trying to overpower. He was trying to solve. Momoshiki lifted his hand again, and this time a dark shape formed around his palm, like a weapon made of stolen energy. Naruto's eyes widened just a fraction. "He's using it," Naruto muttered. Momoshiki smiled. "Your world has such generous gifts." He swung. The attack carved through the air and split a parked car in half. Metal screamed. Glass exploded outward. Naruto flashed in front of the flying shards and threw his arms wide. A chakra cloak burst around him for a moment, bright and thick, stopping the worst of it. The shards fell harmlessly. Annie stared, breathless. That wasn't light like mine," she whispered. "That was something else," Butcher finished, voice flat. Momoshiki's eyes shifted toward the civilians at the far end of the street, people who had come out to watch, phones raised. Naruto saw it. He stepped between Momoshiki and them. "No," Naruto said, voice sharp now. "You don't get to do that here." Momoshiki looked bored. "Then give me what I want." Naruto clenched his fists. "I'm not giving you anything." Momoshiki's gaze slid past Naruto to the city beyond, like he could taste it. "This world is weak," he said, "but it has ingredients." Butcher's eyes narrowed. "Ingredients?" Momoshiki's smile returned. "A strange power," he said, almost politely. "Artificial, crude, yet plentiful." Annie's blood ran cold. "Compound Vi," she whispered. Momoshiki didn't answer her. He wasn't talking to her. He was talking to Naruto. "Bring me more," Momoshiki said. "Bring me the source, or I will take it from everyone." Naruto's jaw tightened so hard his teeth hurt. He had fought monsters who wanted his world to kneel. This one wasn't even interested in kneeling. This one wanted to eat. Naruto lifted his hands and formed a sign. His eyes went focused and calm. "Okay," Naruto said, voice low. "Then I'm going to stop you." The air behind Naruto shifted. A heavier chakra presence rose, like he was opening a door inside himself. Huey felt it even without understanding it. His skin prickled. His chest tightened. Annie took a step back, stunned. "Naruto!" Butcher watched, eyes locked, and for the first time, he looked less like a man with a plan and more like a man staring at a hurricane. Naruto moved, not as a blur now, as a force. He hit Momoshiki with a clean, fast strike that cracked the pavement under Momoshiki's feet. Momoshiki slid back, surprised, not hurt yet, but pushed. Naruto didn't let up. He drove Momoshiki upward, away from the civilians, away from the street, using speed and pressure to control the battlefield. Momoshiki's eyes narrowed. "Better," he said. They rose above the rooftops. The city below became a maze of glass and concrete. Phones in the street pointed up, catching flashes of motion. Somewhere far away. A VOT camera caught the same flashes and zoomed in. Stan Edgar's voice came through a headset in a quiet office. "Get me a clean feed," he said. "Now." High above the billboards, Naruto and Momoshiki clashed again. Naruto tried another Rasengan. Momoshiki absorbed it. Naruto switched. He used a feint, then a kick, then a clone swap, then another hit from behind. Momoshiki blocked two, absorbed one, and got clipped by the third. He clicked his tongue, annoyed. Then he did something new. He threw Naruto's own power back at him, shaped into a spear of energy that cut through the air. Naruto's eyes widened. He twisted, barely avoiding it. The spear shaved a rooftop and left a deep scar in the concrete. Huey watched from the roof edge, terrified. "That would have cut him in half," Butcher finished without emotion. Annie looked like she might cry, not because Naruto was losing, because she finally understood the scale. Naruto was fighting something that didn't belong on Earth. Naruto pushed harder. A glow formed around him, not flashy, but strong, like a steady sun. His speed climbed again. His hits came heavier. Momoshiki's smile faded. For the first time, he looked focused. They clashed above a wide avenue. Naruto forced Momoshiki down, away from the densest crowds, toward empty rooftops and open sky. A few seconds later, Naruto slammed Momoshiki into the side of a high building. The wall shattered inward. Momoshiki emerged from the dust slowly, almost annoyed that the world dared touch him. He wiped a smear from his cheek. He looked at his fingers. Then he smiled again, softer. "Interesting," Momoshiki said. "You restrain yourself, even now." Naruto's voice was hard. "People live down there." Momoshiki's gaze dropped toward the street. "And they will die," he said. "Unless you feed me." Naruto clenched his fists. Then Momoshiki's eyes shifted, not toward Naruto, but toward something else far away. A helicopter. Black. No logo. Moving in fast. Inside it, armored men loaded canisters and restraints. Momoshiki's lips curved. "Ah," he murmured. "There it is. The crude power." Naruto's eyes snapped to the helicopter. He realized what Momoshiki wanted, and he realized something worse. This world was about to hand it over by accident. Naruto shot toward the helicopter like a bullet. Momoshiki followed, calm, like he knew Naruto had to choose. Save the people, stop the monster, or chase the source. Naruto's face tightened. He chose the people first, like always. He threw clones at the helicopter, forcing it to veer away from the city center. He ripped the door off midair and grabbed the canisters before they could be fired. The armored men shouted. One reached for a detonator. Naruto looked at the man's eyes, and saw fear, not evil, just orders. Naruto knocked him out with a fast chop. Then Momoshiki appeared beside the helicopter, almost lazy. He reached for the canisters in Naruto's hands. Naruto jerked back, protecting them like they were bombs. Momoshiki's fingers brushed the metal, and Naruto felt it, a pull, a bite. Momoshiki was not just grabbing the canister. He was sampling Naruto's chakra through it, like tasting him through a spoon. Naruto's eyes widened in anger. Momoshiki's smile deepened. "Now I know your scent," Momoshiki said softly. "Across any world." Naruto lunged. Momoshiki vanished. Not speed. A tear. A small rip in space. Momoshiki stepped into it, half turning as he went. "This world will be very easy," he said, voice echoing. "And you will be very useful." The tear closed. The air pressure vanished. Naruto hovered in the sky for a second, breathing hard, fists trembling. Below, the city screamed again, but now it was a different scream. Not fear of Homelander, fear of the unknown. On screens across the city, Vought replayed shaky footage of Naruto fighting in the sky. They slowed the frames where buildings cracked, where dust burst, where people ran. They didn't show Naruto steering the fight away. They didn't show Naruto catching glass. They didn't show Naruto saving the helicopter crew from falling. They showed power, and they told the world a story. In the safe house hours later, Butcher watched the first wave of headlines roll in. Alien super battle destroys property. Unknown threat endangers city. Vought promises protection. Butcher looked at Naruto sitting on the floor, back against the wall, eyes distant. Naruto looked tired, not from the fight, from the world. Butcher's voice came out low. "That kind of good," he muttered, "gets you killed here." Morning came fast, and it came loud. By the time the sun was fully up, the city had already picked a story. In a small, cramped apartment that was not really safe and never felt like home, Huey sat on the edge of a couch and watched the same clip play again and again. He did not even mean to. It just kept looping, like his thumb had a mind of its own. A shaky phone video, 2 figures in the sky, a flash, a rooftop breaking, people screaming. Then a big red banner slapped over the screen. Unknown super threat. Huey swallowed. "They're not even trying," he muttered. On the other side of the room, Annie stood with her arms folded tight. Her jaw was locked. She watched a Vought news anchor smile and speak like this was weather. "Vought International is working with federal partners to keep you safe," the anchor said. "Remember, do not approach the unidentified individual. Report any sightings immediately." They showed Homelander's face next. Calm. Perfect. Not a single bead of sweat. "My fellow Americans," Homelander said, voice warm, "I promise you, no matter what comes through that sky, I will protect you." Annie's hands clenched so hard her knuckles went white. Naruto sat on the floor near the wall, legs crossed, like he was trying to keep his body still, to keep his mind still. His orange jacket was smudged with dust. There was a small scrape on his cheek that was already fading. He stared at the screen when it showed the street below the fight. He watched the part where people ran. Not because of him, because of the fear the city had trained into them. His stomach felt tight, not from poison, not from pain, from the idea that he had saved people, and it still turned into a weapon against him. Butcher paced like a caged dog. He took one step, then another, like if he stopped moving, he'd explode. "See?" he said, pointing at the screen. "They'll turn anything into a commercial." Sat at the table with a notebook and a phone. He was doing what he always did when things got scary. He was making a plan. Frenchie crouched near a window, peeking through a gap in the blinds. His eyes moved like he was counting cars. Like every engine sound was a threat. Kimiko stood behind him, silent. Her hands flexed once, then relaxed again. She was trying to control the urge to fight, even when she had no clear target. Butcher stopped in front of Naruto. "You happy now, mate?" Big sky fight. Big lights. Big news. Naruto looked up slowly. His eyes were calm, but there was heat under them. "I moved it away from the people," Naruto said. Butcher scoffed. "And they still blamed you." Naruto's voice got sharper. "So what? I'm supposed to let them die so the news stays nice?" Butcher leaned in. "I'm saying you don't understand the game." Naruto pushed to his feet in one smooth motion. "I understand fear," he said. "I understand lies. I grew up with that." Butcher's mouth twitched. "Did ya? Did you grow up with a company owning the cops, the courts, and the bloody superheroes?" Naruto didn't flinch. "I grew up with people looking at me like I was a monster." The room went still for half a second. Kimiko's eyes lifted to Naruto's face. Something in her expression changed. Not soft, but less closed. Annie stepped between Naruto and Butcher again, like she refused to let them burn the room down. "We don't have time," she said. "They're hunting him. They'll sweep the city. They'll hit shelters, hospitals, the subway." Nodded. "And they'll lean on anyone they can. Money, fear, threats." Huey's voice came small. "They'll lean on me." Butcher glanced at him. "They already have, Sunshine. They always will." Naruto looked at Huey. "Why do you stay here if it's like this?" Huey's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Annie answered for him. "Because we don't want them to win," she said. Naruto nodded once. "Then we don't let them win." Butcher laughed, but it wasn't happy. "Right. And how do we do that, Captain Orange?" Naruto's brow furrowed. "We tell people the truth." Butcher's eyes flashed. "Truth doesn't pay rent. Truth doesn't beat Homelander. Truth gets you shot in an alley and forgotten by lunch." Naruto held his gaze. "Then we make it impossible to ignore." Raised a hand, steady. "All right, both of you. Save it." Butcher turned away, annoyed. Leaned forward. "Here's what's real," said. "Vought doesn't need to beat Naruto in a fight. They just need to make the world afraid of him." Naruto's jaw tightened. "Then I show them they don't need to be afraid." Annie shook her head. "You can't just be nice at them." Naruto looked at her. "I'm not being nice. I'm being true." Annie's face pinched, like she wanted to argue, but she couldn't fully, because she had seen him. He had stepped in front of strangers without thinking. Huey rubbed his forehead. "They're going to do a press thing. Bigger. I saw a teaser." Butcher's eyes narrowed. "Who's fronting it?" Huey swallowed. "Not Homelander. Someone else. Stan Edgar." The name landed heavy in the room. Annie's shoulders stiffened. MM's voice went low. "That's the real boss." Naruto blinked. "Boss of Homelander?" Butcher snorted. "Ain't that funny? The big god man has a manager." Naruto didn't smile. "Then we stopped the manager." Butcher's grin came back, thin. "Now you're talking my language." Annie shot him a warning look. Naruto looked at Butcher again. "No," Naruto said. "Not like that." Butcher's smile faded. "You don't get it, kid." Naruto stepped closer, close enough that even Butcher's confidence had to work harder. "I get it," Naruto said quietly. "You're hurt. You want the world to bleed back." Butcher's eyes went cold. "Watch your mouth." Naruto didn't back off. "You think killing fixes the pain," Naruto said, "but it just makes you empty faster." Butcher's jaw clenched. For a moment it looked like he might swing. Stood up. "Enough." He pointed at the laptop. "Look, they're doing it now." They all turned. A clean conference room, bright lights, flags, a neat row of microphones. Stan Edgar stepped up like he owned the air. He didn't smile. He didn't pretend to care. He looked like a man, telling you what the world was. and daring you to disagree. An unidentified individual with unknown abilities entered our country without warning, Edgar said calmly. A fight followed. Lives were put at risk. Property was destroyed. He paused, letting the words sink in. We will not panic, Edgar continued. We will not allow fear to control us. But we will also not allow an uncontrolled, unregistered threat to walk freely among our families. Naruto stared at the screen. Unregistered? He repeated, confused. Frenchie muttered, They want to put a collar on you. Edgar lifted a folder on camera. Vought International has developed a temporary safety agreement, he said. A cooperation plan. If the subject is willing to come forward peacefully, we will provide shelter, support, and a path to understanding. He tapped the folder. This is not punishment. It is responsibility. Annie's face twisted. He's selling it like charity. Huey's voice cracked. They're going to make him the bad guy no matter what. Butcher watched Edgar like he was watching a sniper scope. He's offering the leash, Butcher said. And when the leash doesn't work, he'll offer the cage. Naruto's eyes narrowed at the folder. That's a contract. Frenchie glanced at Naruto. You know contracts? Naruto's mouth tightened. I know traps. Edgar's voice stayed smooth. We encourage the subject's associates to do the right thing, he said. Helping him hide will be treated as aiding a dangerous threat. Annie's stomach dropped. Associates. Exhaled. They're hunting everyone around him now. Butcher's phone buzzed in his pocket. He checked it. His expression barely changed, but his eyes did. We've got company, he said. Frenchie's head snapped toward the window. How close? Butcher tilted his phone. A grainy camera view from outside. 2 black SUVs parked down the block. Men standing near them. Not cops. Not normal. Cursed under his breath. Move! Now! Huey jumped up. Already? Annie grabbed her bag. They found the pattern. They always do. Naruto stood still for half a second, listening. He didn't feel chakra out there, but he felt intent. Human intent. Tight. Focused. He looked at Butcher. They're here for me. Butcher's voice went flat. They're here for all of us. Naruto made a hand sign. 2 clones popped into existence. They didn't waste time. They moved to the back door and the side window. Quiet. Ready. Huey stared. Still not used to it. Do they just keep coming? Naruto glanced at him. As long as I have chakra. Huey swallowed. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Guided them into motion. Back exit. Alley. Then split. Annie hesitated, looking at Naruto. We can't keep moving forever. Naruto nodded. Then we stop running. Butcher scoffed. From Vought? Good luck. Naruto's eyes hardened. Not with luck. They slipped out through the back into a narrow alley that smelled like trash and wet stone. Naruto kept his steps light. He had done stealth in worse places. At the alley mouth, a drone buzzed overhead, sweeping. Naruto flicked a pebble up. It struck the drone's camera lens with a sharp crack. The drone wobbled and rose higher. Blind. Huey blinked. You just threw a rock? Naruto looked at him like it was obvious. It's a good rock. Butcher barked a laugh in spite of himself. Bloody hell. They moved 3 blocks, then ducked into an empty laundromat with broken machines and no lights. Checked corners. Annie checked exits. Butcher checked his phone again. Naruto stood near the front window, looking out at the street. He saw a poster of Homelander on a bus. He saw people glance up at it like it made them feel safe. He felt something in his chest twist. In his world, people had lied about him too. They had called him a demon. They had whispered his name like it was poison. And still, he had fought for them. Because if he didn't, the hate won. Annie stepped beside him, keeping her voice low. You're thinking about going out there alone. Naruto didn't deny it. If I leave, they stop chasing you. Annie's eyes flashed. No! Naruto looked at her. This isn't your fight. Annie's voice got sharp. Everything in this world becomes my fight. That's the point. Naruto studied her face. The anger, the fear, the tired hope. You want to be a hero, Naruto said. Annie's lips pressed together. I wanted to be one. Now I just try not to become like them. Naruto nodded. Then we're the same. Annie looked away fast, like the words hit too close. Behind them, Butcher spoke quietly to MM. Huey hovered, listening like he couldn't help it. We can't keep him, Butcher said. He's a beacon. MM answered, controlled. He's also the only reason Homelander looked unsure for once. Butcher's eyes narrowed, and that's exactly why they'll come harder. Frenchie shuffled in, holding a plastic bag with the poison dart Naruto had pulled out earlier. He had wrapped it in layers like it was a dead insect. I found it in your jacket, Frenchie whispered to Naruto. You bleed a little. Not much. Naruto's eyes widened. You took my blood? Frenchie raised both hands. For safety. Not for Vought. For us. Butcher's gaze snapped to the bag. That's the problem, right there. Naruto looked from Frenchie to Butcher. What? Butcher's voice was low. They got you on camera. They got your face. And if any of your blood is out there. Annie's eyes widened. They can test it. MM nodded grimly. They can build a file. They can build tools. Naruto's stomach dropped. Not because he was scared for himself. Because he understood what people like that did. They didn't just fight you. They studied you. They copied you. Naruto's jaw tightened. We get it back. Butcher's smile returned. Dark. Now you're talking my language. Naruto shot him a look. No, Naruto said. We do it my way. Butcher held up his hands like he was innocent. Sure, your way. The laundromat door creaked. Everyone froze. Kimiko moved first, silent and fast, sliding behind a broken machine like a knife in a shadow. MM raised his gun. Annie's hand sparked faintly under her sleeves. Huey's breath stopped. Naruto didn't move. He just listened. A voice came from outside, calm, like a man calling a friendly dog. Hello, the voice said. We're not here to hurt anyone. Butcher's face twisted. Oh, go on then. The door opened slowly. A man stepped in wearing a simple suit with no tie, no logo, no badge, just clean fabric and calm eyes. He held both hands out, empty. Behind him, in the street, 2 more people waited at a distance. Also clean, also calm. Not soldiers, not police, messengers. The man looked around the dark laundromat, then focused on Naruto. His gaze sharpened a little, like he was trying not to stare. Sir, he said, polite. I work for Vought International. Butcher laughed. Course you do. The man didn't react. He kept his eyes on Naruto. We don't know what you are, he said. We don't know where you came from, but we believe you don't want to hurt anyone. Naruto stared at him. Then, why are you hunting me? The man's smile was small. Because we have to, he said, like it was normal. People are scared. Fear spreads. We can reduce it. He reached into his jacket slowly. MM's gun lifted higher. The man pulled out a folder and held it up. A cooperation agreement, he said. A temporary arrangement. You come in. You speak with our team. You are safe. The public sees you are responsible. Then we can discuss your future. Naruto frowned at the folder. You want me to sign that? Yes, the man said. It's the easiest path. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Why does helping people need papers? The man blinked once, like he didn't expect that question. Because this is America, the man said carefully. We do things properly. Naruto's voice stayed even. Properly, he repeated. Like injecting babies with drugs? Annie's head snapped toward Naruto. Huey's eyes widened. Butcher grinned like a wolf. The man's comm cracked for a fraction of a second. It came back fast, but Naruto saw it. "I don't make those decisions," the man said. Naruto stepped closer. "Then tell the person who does," Naruto said, "that I'm not signing anything." The man's smile faded. "Sir, you don't understand the risk." Naruto's eyes sharpened. "I understand control." The man lowered the folder slightly. "If you refuse," he said, "it becomes complicated." Butcher chuckled. "There it is." Naruto held the man's gaze. "I'm not your product," Naruto said. The man took a slow breath. "Then I have to ask a different question," he said. He looked at Annie, then at Huey, then at the others. "How many people are you willing to endanger?" he asked softly. "Just to protect him." Annie's heart hammered. Huey went pale. Butcher stepped forward. "You threatening us?" The man didn't flinch. "I'm warning you," he said. "This city eats anyone Vought points at. And Vought is pointing at him." Naruto's voice dropped. "Leave." The man hesitated. Then he nodded once. "We will be in touch," he said. He turned and walked out like he was leaving a business meeting, not a trap. When the door closed, the room held its breath. Butcher let out a low whistle. "Polite leash offer. Nice." Annie's voice shook with anger. "He threatened us." Rubbed his forehead. "He threatened everyone around us." Naruto stared at the closed door, eyes distant. Huey swallowed hard. "They're going to come back with guns." Naruto nodded slowly. "I know." Frenchie's voice came quiet. "They wanted you to sign because it makes you theirs." Naruto turned. "And if I don't sign?" Kimiko made a small sound in her throat, a bitter laugh without humor. Butcher answered. "Then they'll make you the monster until the world begs them to kill you." Naruto's fists clenched. His breathing stayed steady, but his chest felt tight. This world didn't just punish you. It trained people to cheer when you were punished. Naruto looked at Annie. "You said they inject children," he said. Annie nodded, eyes wet with rage. "Yes." Naruto's voice got quieter. "Where?" Annie's brows knitted. "What?" Naruto stepped closer. "Where do they keep the kids?" he asked. "Where do they train them? Where do they hurt them?" Butcher's eyes narrowed. "Don't." Naruto looked at him. "This is what I do," Naruto said. "I save people who were turned into weapons." MM's face tightened. He knew where this went. Annie whispered, "There are programs, facilities. Some are secret." Naruto's jaw set. "Then we hit the secret." Butcher shook his head slowly. "That's a trap." Naruto didn't blink. "Everything here is a trap," Naruto said. "So we choose the trap that saves someone." A silence fell. Then Huey's phone buzzed. He flinched and looked. His face drained of color. "What?" Annie asked. Huey held it up. A news alert. A picture. Vought announces new Hero Youth Protection Initiative. A second line beneath it, featuring Ryan, America's bravest young hero. Annie's stomach dropped. Butcher's eyes went cold. "They're bringing the kid out." Swore under his breath. "They're using him." Naruto looked at the picture. A boy. Young. Stiff smile. Eyes that looked like he wanted to disappear. Naruto's voice went soft. "He's trapped." Annie whispered, "That's Homelander's son." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "A kid," he said. "A kid with a monster. For a father." Butcher's lips curled. "Don't you start." Naruto cut him off with a hard look. "Don't," Naruto said. "Not about the kid." Butcher held his gaze, then looked away. On the screen, the announcement continued. A live event, a location, a date, a time, a shiny stage, bright lights, and a perfect reason for Vought to point every camera in the world at the next disaster. Naruto's voice dropped. They want me to show up. Annie nodded, throat tight. They want you to be the villain in front of everyone. Leaned forward. And if you don't show, they'll say you're hiding because you're guilty. Butcher smiled. Mean. And if you do show, Homelander gets to make you bleed on TV. Naruto stared at the boy's face. Then he looked at Annie and Huey. I'm going, Naruto said. Annie's eyes widened. Naruto! Naruto shook his head. Not to fight, he said. To save him. Butcher laughed. You can't save that kid. Naruto's eyes hardened. Watch me. 2 hours outside the city, a building sat behind fences and trees like it was trying to pretend it was normal. No logos on the front. No big sign. Just clean walls and quiet cameras. Inside, children ran down a hallway in matching clothes, moving in straight lines, supervised by adults with clipboards. To the adults, it was training. To the kids, it was life. In a lab deeper inside, men and women in white coats stood around a glass chamber. They watched monitors. They spoke in low voices. On one screen, a thermal outline of Naruto moved through a city map. On another, a waveform pattern pulsed like a heartbeat. A scientist tapped the screen. The energy output is consistent, she said, but it doesn't match any known soup profile. A second scientist frowned. It's not radiation, not electricity, not heat. A third leaned in, eyes bright with excitement. It behaves like a system, he whispered. Like a language. A man in a suit stood behind them, not a scientist, a watcher. Can you replicate it? He asked. The scientists hesitated. We can't copy the source, the woman said carefully, but we can mimic the effect. She gestured at the glass chamber. Inside it, a young man stood in gray clothes, wrists and ankles strapped. His eyes were wide and glassy. He looked like he hadn't slept. There were marks on his arms from needles. The woman pointed at a file on her tablet. Subject mirror, she said. Energy absorption, nervous system acceleration, high pain tolerance, designed to disrupt the target's patterns. The watcher's voice stayed calm. Will it work? The woman hesitated again. Then she nodded once. It will not beat him in raw power, she admitted, but it can stall him. The watcher's eyes narrowed slightly. Stall, he repeated. That's enough. In a dark corner of the ceiling, a camera lens clicked. And far, far away, beyond walls, beyond cities, something else felt that small spark of imitation. A hunger stirred. The plan was ugly. That meant it was a plan Butcher liked. They didn't go to the shiny stage first. They didn't rush into the spotlight like Vought wanted. They went sideways. They went for the place that made the stage possible. They went for the pipeline. Drove a stolen van down a back road, while Frenchie sat in the passenger seat with a laptop and a mess of wires. Annie sat in the back, hood up, face tight with focus. Huey sat beside her, white-knuckled. Kimiko sat across from Naruto, watching him like she was trying to decide if he was real. Butcher sat near the doors, loading gear and muttering to himself. Naruto watched the trees pass by through a small window. His mind kept coming back to the boy's face. Ryan. He didn't know the kid. He didn't know his story. But Naruto knew what it meant to be a child treated like a weapon. He had promised himself long ago he would never ignore that. Frenchie clicked his tongue. Cameras, he said. Sensors. They have a grid. Glanced at him. Can you loop it? Frenchie shrugged. For a minute or two. Not long. Annie spoke quietly. This place, it's not a normal facility. Butcher smirked. Nothing Vought does is normal. Huey swallowed. What are we even calling it? Frenchie shrugged again. It has many names. Red River, for some. For others, a youth program. A kinder cage. Naruto's hands curled into fists. Kids are inside. Annie nodded, voice tight. Yes. Butcher leaned toward Naruto. "Remember," he said, "we're not here to save the world. We're here to get what we need and get out." Naruto met his gaze. "We're here to save kids," Naruto said. Butcher's smile twitched. Sure. Save the kids. Just don't get us killed doing it." Naruto didn't answer. He didn't need to. They parked the van in a ditch behind trees. Frenchie killed the engine. The quiet felt heavy. They moved on foot. Annie led them toward a weak point in the fence she had learned about the hard way. Watched the trees. Butcher watched the cameras. Naruto watched everything. He sent a small group of clones out ahead, spread wide, silent, moving through shadows like they were made for this. Huey leaned close to Annie and whispered, "This is insane." Annie whispered back, "This is Tuesday." They reached the fence. Frenchie cut a small opening with a tool that barely made a sound. Kimiko slipped through first. Followed. Annie and Huey next. Naruto went last. As he stepped through, he felt something. A faint vibration in the air. A pressure that made his skin prickle. Not Momoshiki. Not yet. Something else. A trap built by humans. He didn't tell the others right away. He stored the feeling in his mind like a warning note. They reached the back of the building. A service door. 2 guards. Butcher lifted his gun. Naruto grabbed Butcher's wrist. Butcher glared. "Don't." Naruto's voice stayed low. "No killing," Naruto said. Butcher's eyes burned. "These are Vought dogs." Naruto leaned closer. "They're people," Naruto said. "Knock them out." Butcher looked like he wanted to argue. Then he jerked his wrist free and spat to the side. "Fine," he muttered. "Your way." Kimiko moved. She was a blur of quiet violence. 2 guards dropped without screams. Clean, fast. Not gentle, but not deadly. Naruto watched her. He saw how controlled she was trying to be. He nodded once at her. She looked away, but she had seen the nod. They slipped inside. The hallway was bright and cold. Too clean. Too quiet. A poster on the wall showed smiling kids with powers, hands raised like they were waving to a crowd. "Heroes of Tomorrow." Huey whispered, "This is sick." Annie's face was stone. Naruto's clones returned and dissolved into smoke, feeding him information in a rush. Rooms, cameras, training halls, a lab wing, and kids. So many kids. Naruto's chest tightened. He moved fast, but not loud. He had learned patience from missions. He had learned restraint from pain. They reached a viewing window into a gym. Inside, children ran drills while adults shouted orders. A small boy stumbled. An adult yanked him up by the arm. The boy's eyes watered. He didn't cry. He had learned not to. Naruto's hands clenched. Annie grabbed his sleeve. "Not yet," she whispered. "We need the map. We need Ryan." Naruto looked at her. "Where is he?" Annie swallowed. "I don't know. But if he's here, he'll be deeper." Pointed down the hall. "Lab wing." They moved. The deeper they went, the more the building stopped pretending. Doors got thicker. Cameras got denser. The air smelled like chemicals. Frenchie's fingers flew over his small device as he looped a camera feed for seconds at a time. Sweat gathered on his brow. "Not long," he whispered. "Not long." Then a door opened at the end of the hall. 2 people stepped out in lab coats, talking. Annie froze. Huey froze harder. Butcher reached for his gun again. Naruto lifted a hand. A clone appeared behind the 2 lab workers and tapped both necks with quick chops. They dropped like marionettes with cut strings. Huey stared at the clone, then at Naruto. That's terrifyingly useful," he whispered. Naruto didn't smile. "It's for saving lives," he said. They dragged the lab workers into a side room and shut the door. Frenchie looked at the key card on one worker's belt. He grabbed it like it was treasure. "Merci," he whispered. They reached the lab wing. Inside, glass walls revealed things Naruto hated. Needles, restraints, kids in chairs with blank eyes. A teenage girl screamed once, then went silent when an adult leaned close and whispered something in her ear. Naruto felt his anger rise like heat. Annie's face went pale. "Oh my God." Huey's voice shook. They're making them." MM's jaw clenched. "They're breaking them." Butcher's eyes were cold. "Told ya." Naruto's voice came out low and dangerous. "We stop this." Butcher glanced at him. "Pick your targets, kid." Naruto didn't answer. He stepped to the glass wall. On the other side, a boy about 8 years old sat on a table with his arms strapped down. Tears ran down his face in silent lines. A doctor held a syringe. Naruto's hand pressed against the glass. The boy looked up. Their eyes met. Naruto didn't know the boy, but the boy knew what Naruto was in that moment. Not a brand, not a boss, a person who saw him. Naruto's mouth moved in a single word the boy couldn't hear. "Wait." The boy blinked, confused. Then alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Frenchie's head snapped up. "No," he whispered. "No, no, no." MM spun. "What happened?" Frenchie looked at his device. His hands shook. "They changed the network. My loop is dead." Annie's breath hitched. "They saw us." Butcher grinned like he'd been waiting. "Here we go." Naruto's clones popped into existence around them without him even thinking about it. A ring of Naruto. Ready. Huey's heart hammered. "This is so bad." Annie grabbed his hand. "Stay with me." Footsteps thundered down the hall. Not kids. Not lab staff. Boots. Weapons. And then something heavier. Slower. Like a person walking with confidence because they never lose. A figure appeared at the far end of the corridor. A young man. Tall. Gray clothes. Bare hands. His eyes were wrong. Empty in a different way than Homelander's. Not craving love. Craving function. He stared at Naruto, like Naruto was a problem to solve. Frenchie whispered, "That is not a guard." MM's voice went tight. "That's a soup." Butcher's eyes narrowed. "New one." The young man lifted a hand. The air in front of Naruto's clones bent, like a hand squeezing invisible cloth. 3 clones popped into smoke at once. Naruto's eyes narrowed. "What are you?" The young man didn't answer. He moved. Fast. Not Naruto fast, but fast enough that Huey barely saw him cross the hall. He slammed into Naruto's chest with a punch that felt like a truck. Naruto slid back a few feet, shoes scraping. He didn't fall. He stared, surprised more than hurt. The young man's palm touched Naruto's shoulder. Naruto felt a tug. A drain. Not complete. Not like Momoshiki's hunger. But similar. Naruto's eyes widened. "You're absorbing?" The young man's lips moved in a small, flat line. Not a smile. Almost a twitch. He shoved Naruto back and looked around at the others like they were background noise. Then he looked at Annie. For 1 second, his eyes flickered, like he recognized her light. Annie stepped forward, hands glowing. "Back off." He swung his hand toward her. Annie blasted light. He absorbed it. Her blast vanished into his palm like it never existed. Annie froze, shocked. Huey's mouth opened. "What?" Butcher barked. "That's new." Naruto's voice went sharp. "Don't touch them." He moved. He didn't throw a giant attack. Not here. Not with kids behind glass. He went close. He went precise. He hit the young man with a spinning kick. The man blocked and slid back, boots squealing on the floor. Naruto followed with a Rasengan. The man's eyes widened. He caught it, like Momoshiki did. But he couldn't fully handle it. His arm shook. His skin reddened. The Rasengan screamed against his palm like a grinding wheel. He absorbed part of it. Then the rest exploded outward. The hallway wall cracked. Lights flickered. The man flew back, slammed into a door, and dented it. He rose slowly, breathing hard. He looked at his hand, trembling. He looked at Naruto again. Now his eyes had something in them. Not fear, respect, or maybe anger. Butcher leaned close to MMM. "He's built for you," Butcher muttered at Naruto, like Naruto could hear through walls. "They made him for you." Frenchie whispered, horrified. "They used children. They used needles. They built a counter." Naruto's stomach turned. That was the worst kind of enemy. Not born, designed. Naruto formed a hand sign. 10 clones appeared and spread out. The young man lifted both hands. A pulse rippled. Half the clones popped instantly. Naruto's eyes narrowed. "You're not just absorbing. You're disrupting the chakra flow." The young man didn't answer. He rushed again. Naruto met him head on. They traded fast blows in the narrow hallway. Naruto kept the man away from the lab doors, away from the kids. Annie blasted light at angles now, trying to avoid his palms. Some blasts hit, some vanished. MM fought off armed guards at the side hall, moving like a wall. Kimiko tore through 2 men and slammed another into the ground. Huey stayed behind cover, shaking, but he didn't run. Frenchie worked the lab keycards with frantic hands. "Open," he whispered. "Open, open." A lab door clicked. Inside, a room full of kids turned toward the sound, eyes wide. Naruto saw it while blocking a strike. His chest tightened. "Get them out!" Naruto snapped. Annie moved to Frenchie, guarding him with her body, light sparking in small bursts. Butcher pulled a grenade from his vest. Naruto saw it and shouted, "No!" Butcher's eyes flashed. "It's smoke!" Naruto hesitated. Butcher tossed it anyway. Gray smoke filled the hall, thick and fast. Guards coughed and cursed. The absorption soup didn't cough. He stepped through the smoke like it was nothing, tracking Naruto by instinct or sound. Naruto clicked his tongue. He didn't like this. He needed space. He needed a clean move. He needed to end the fight without killing and without blowing up a building full of kids. So he changed the battlefield. Naruto grabbed the soup's wrist and twisted, using the man's momentum. He flung him through a side door into an empty training room. The door slammed behind them. Inside, there were mats, weights, and no glass walls full of kids. Naruto exhaled. Good. The soup rushed again. Naruto met him with a clone feint. A clone took the first hit and popped. Naruto hit from behind with a clean punch to the ribs. The soup absorbed some chakra from the hit, but Naruto didn't pour chakra into his fist this time. He used pure skill. He used pure timing. He used what couldn't be absorbed. The soup stumbled. Naruto followed with a leg sweep. The soup fell. Naruto pinned him with a knee to the chest. The soup grabbed Naruto's arm, trying to drain again. Naruto grimaced. He felt the tug. He felt his chakra slip like sand. He leaned close, eyes hard. "You're not a monster," Naruto said. "You're a victim." The soup's eyes flickered. For 1 second, Naruto saw something human. Then the soup's face flattened again. He headbutted Naruto. Naruto's head snapped back. He didn't bleed much. But the message was clear. This guy couldn't hear him, not right now. Naruto's jaw tightened. "Fine." He slammed a seal tag onto the soup's chest. The tag glowed for a second, then locked down like a clamp. The soup tried to move. His muscles refused. He froze, breathing hard, eyes wide with sudden panic. Naruto stood up, chest heaving once. "Stay down," Naruto said. He stepped out of the room. The hallway was chaos. Kids were running now. Some crying, some silent, some staring like they didn't believe freedom was real. MM guided them in groups like a shepherd, keeping his body between them and the gunfire. Kimiko carried 2 kids at once, like they weighed nothing. Annie blasted a camera on the ceiling, shattering it. "No more footage," she snapped. Frenchie shouted, "This way, this way!" Huey grabbed a small boy's hand. The boy stared at Huey like Huey was crazy, then ran with him anyway. Butcher stood near a corner, covering the hall with his gun, eyes scanning for the biggest threat. Then the building shook, not from Naruto, from something else. A deep boom rolled through the walls, like a giant fist hit the world. Annie froze. "No!" Huey's voice went thin. "What now?" Butcher's eyes narrowed. That'll be him. A shadow fell over the hallway windows. A cape shadow. Homelander. He hovered outside the building like a judge arriving late on purpose. His voice came through the broken glass, calm and sweet. "Well," he called, "this looks like a hostage situation." Annie's stomach dropped. "He's going to—" Homelander's eyes glowed faintly. "Everybody stay calm," he said. "I'm here to save you." Naruto stepped forward into the open, between Homelander and the hallway full of kids. Homelander's smile sharpened when he saw him. "There you are," Homelander said softly, like he was talking to a toy he'd lost. "You really like stealing my spotlight." Naruto's voice was flat. "You hurt people." Homelander's smile didn't move. "People hurt themselves," he said. "I just clean up." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "Not today." Homelander's eyes flicked past Naruto, down the hall. He saw the kids. He saw the chaos. And Naruto saw the decision land behind Homelander's eyes, like a coin dropping. Homelander could burn the whole building and call it a rescue. He could do it, and people would clap. Naruto's chest tightened. So Naruto did the only thing that worked in a world like this. He took the choice away. A wall of clones burst into the hallway, lifting kids, guiding them, carrying them toward exits and stairwells in a flood of orange and motion. Homelander's eyes widened a fraction, annoyed. Naruto stepped forward and raised his hand. Not to attack, to block. A wind of chakra flared around him, controlled and tight like a shield. Homelander's eyes glowed brighter. He fired. A red beam snapped through the air. Naruto caught the line of heat with his chakra cloak for a split second and bent it upward, forcing it to slice into the empty sky instead of the hallway. The building shook again from the heat. But no one died. Annie stared, breath caught. Huey's eyes went wide. Even Butcher's grin faltered. Homelander's face twitched. He had never had someone redirect him like that. Naruto's voice stayed steady. "Leave," Naruto said. Homelander smiled wider. "Make me." Naruto didn't answer with words. He moved. He hit Homelander once, clean, hard, enough to launch him back through the air and away from the building. Not far, not into space, just far enough to pull him off the kids. Homelander stopped himself in midair, cape snapping. His eyes were wide with shock. Then the shock turned into rage. But Naruto didn't stay. He didn't hover for the fight Vought wanted. He turned back into the building and shouted, "Everyone out!" The escape became a sprint. Kids poured out into the trees behind the building. MM guided them. Kimiko guarded them. Annie covered them with flashes that blinded cameras. Frenchie shouted directions. Huey kept moving even when his legs wanted to quit. Butcher stayed back longer than everyone else, watching the sky like he was daring Homelander to follow. Naruto ran the last group out himself. As he reached the tree line, a deep cold pressure brushed the air again. Just a whisper, like a hand tapping his shoulder from another world. Naruto's eyes narrowed. He knew what it meant. Momoshiki was watching, and someone else had felt the chakra imitation too. Because the building's cameras were still recording somewhere. Because Vought never stopped recording. Behind them, Homelander's voice thundered across the facility grounds. "Stop." Naruto didn't turn. He kept moving with the kids into the woods until the trees swallowed the building and the lights and the lies. When they finally stopped, in a hollow between hills, the kids huddled together like animals that had been caged too long. One small girl stared at Naruto with huge eyes. "Are you a hero?" she whispered. Naruto crouched down to her level. He didn't smile big. He didn't do a pose. He just met her eyes. "I'm Naruto," he said, "and nobody owns you." The girl blinked, like she didn't know those words were allowed. Behind Naruto, Butcher stared at the kids. His face didn't soften, but his jaw worked like he was chewing something bitter. Exhaled slowly. Annie wiped her eyes with the back of her sleeve and looked away like she hated herself for needing to. Frenchie whispered, shaking, "We did it." Huey laughed once, a broken sound. "We actually did it." Then Butcher's phone buzzed again. Butcher looked down. His face went blank. Annie saw it and went cold. "What?" Butcher held up the phone. A live clip. Vought news. A shaky camera shot of the facility. A narrator voice, calm and horrified. "A terrorist attack on a youth protection center." Then the clip zoomed in on the hallway. On Naruto, standing between Homelander and the building. They slowed the frame right before Naruto redirected the beam. They froze Naruto's face, and under it, in bold letters, "Name unknown. Threat extreme." Below that, a second line. "Reward increased. All citizens report sightings." Huey's blood turned to ice. "They're going to hunt us with the whole country," Annie whispered. "They're going to hunt the kids, too." Naruto stared at the screen. He didn't look tired now. He looked focused. "They're scared," Naruto said quietly. Butcher scoffed. "Course they're scared." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "Not of me," Naruto said. "Of what I did." Annie swallowed. "What do you mean?" Naruto looked at the kids behind them, the freed ones, the ones who had seen that Vought could be beaten. "They're scared," Naruto said, "because people saw the truth for 1 second." Butcher's smile returned, small and ugly, and now they'll smash it. Naruto's voice stayed low. "Then we keep breaking their cage," he said, "again and again." Shook his head, grim. "We can't keep a group of kids hidden forever." Frenchie whispered, "We need places. We need help." Annie looked at Naruto, "And Vought is going to make you the center of every story from now on." Naruto nodded once. "Let them," he said. He looked at the tree line, at the distant glow of a city that didn't know what it was cheering for. Then he looked back at the kids. "I won't run from saving people," Naruto said. Butcher stared at him, eyes sharp. "And what happens when saving people gets them killed?" Naruto held his gaze. "Then I stand there too," Naruto said. "That's what a hero does." Butcher didn't answer, because in the far distance, beyond the hills, a small tear shimmered in the sky for half a second. No one else saw it. Naruto did, and he felt it like a chill. A promise. The hungry god had his scent now, and Vought had his face. The next move would not be about a fight. It would be about bait. The camp did not feel safe, but it felt quieter than the city. 3 days after the escape, the kids stopped jumping at every creak of wood. They still woke up crying sometimes. They still hid food in their pockets like it could disappear. But they started to believe the door would not slam open again. Made schedules and rules. He set up watches. He wrote names on a board so the kids knew who was on their side. Frenchie fixed broken locks and turned one cabin into a workroom, full of wires and stolen chargers. Kimiko stayed close to the kids without forcing words on them. Huey carried blankets and tried to smile even when he felt sick inside. Annie checked bruises and needle marks, jaw tight, hands steady. Naruto made clones the way other people use tools. A few chopped wood, a few walked the tree line, a few stood on rooftops of cabins, eyes scanning, never tired. The real Naruto spent mornings with the kids. He sat on the dirt with them and taught one simple thing. First, breathe. In, he said. Hold. Out. A small boy copied him with shaking shoulders. When his breath finally slowed, the boy stared at Naruto like Naruto had done a magic trick. Annie watched from the steps. "You're turning into a camp counselor," she muttered. Naruto looked up. "They deserve to feel normal," he said. Annie's face tightened. "In this world, normal gets used." Naruto nodded once. "Then we protect normal," he said. That afternoon, Butcher dropped a folder on the table in front of Naruto. Naruto stared at it. "If that's another contract, I'm going to throw it." Butcher smirked. "It is a contract." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "Then I'm going to throw it." Butcher held it down with one finger. "Not Vought's. Mine. Rules." Naruto blinked. "Rules." Butcher tapped the page. "You keep saying no killing like it's a prayer. Fine. Put it in writing. Make it real." Naruto frowned. "I don't need paper to know what's right." Butcher leaned in. "This world runs on paper," he said. "Paper turns promises into traps. Paper turns people into property. So if you want your rules to matter, you better understand the game." Naruto didn't sign. He slid the folder back. "My rule is simple," he said. "We save people." Butcher's eyes sharpened. "And if saving people means letting Homelander live?" Naruto met his gaze. "Then he lives," Naruto said, "until I can stop him without becoming him." Butcher laughed, short and bitter. "You really think you can have it both ways?" Naruto's voice stayed calm. "Watch me." That night, an envelope appeared on the old camp sign by the road. No tracks, no footsteps. Just clean paper placed like a message from a ghost. Opened it with a knife. A card inside had a time and a place. Private meeting. Peaceful. Butcher didn't need a signature to know who it was from. "Edgar," he said, like he was tasting poison. Huey swallowed. "We don't have to go." Annie's eyes flicked to the kids asleep in the cabins. "If we don't," she said quietly, "he'll take it out on someone else." Naruto stared at the card. It felt like a leash being held out with a smile. "We go," Naruto said. Butcher's grin showed teeth. "Good." Naruto looked at him. "My way," he said. Butcher's grin didn't move. "Sure, mate." The place Edgar chose was calm on purpose. A small museum, closed for maintenance. White walls, soft lights, quiet air. A marble statue of a hero with a sword stood between them like a joke. Stan Edgar waited in a suit with no tie, hands folded behind his back. He looked like a man who could watch a fire and never sweat. When Naruto walked in with Annie, Huey, and Edgar's eyes took Naruto in like a report. Posture, breathing, control. "Thank you for coming," Edgar said. Naruto didn't sit. "Why did you call me?" A woman stepped forward and placed a folder on a bench. Edgar didn't touch it yet. "People fear what they cannot name," Edgar said. "You fell from the sky and humiliated our most valuable asset." Annie's jaw clenched. "You mean you embarrassed your monster?" Edgar glanced at her like she was a fly. "Homelander is difficult," he said. Naruto's voice was flat. "He hurt people." Edgar nodded once, like Naruto had said it might rain. "And millions still love him," Edgar said. "That is the world you entered." Naruto's fists clenched. "Then your world is wrong." Edgar's mouth moved in something close to a smile. "Idealism," he said. "A predictable trait." Naruto stepped closer. "Stop using children," he said. "Stop lying. Stop hunting my friends." Edgar finally tapped at the folder. "Sign," he said, "and you stop being hunted." Naruto stared at the signature line like it was a chain. "No," Naruto said. Edgar's eyes narrowed by a hair. "Then the public will be taught to fear you," he said. "The children you freed will be called victims of your terrorism. Anyone who helps you will be punished. Not because I enjoy it, because it works." Huey felt cold spread through his stomach. Annie's hands lit faintly under her sleeves. Naruto's voice dropped. "That's a threat." Edgar's tone stayed polite. That is reality, he said. Naruto held Edgar's gaze. Then, here is mine, Naruto said. I will keep breaking your cages. Edgar studied Naruto for a long beat. Power without ownership, he murmured. Rare. Naruto didn't blink. I'm not for sale. Edgar's eyes shifted, sharp and fast. Home, he said. Naruto froze for half a breath. Edgar saw it and pressed. You want to return to your world, he said. We can fund research. We can search for the cause of the tear. We can give you a path back, if you cooperate. Naruto's chest hurt. He saw Konoha in his mind like a warm light. He swallowed and shook his head. If you can help me go home, Naruto said, do it without owning me. Edgar closed the folder. That is not how partnerships work, he said. Naruto's voice stayed steady. Then, we don't have one. Edgar stepped back, as if the meeting had ended. You will tire, he said, and when you do, you will return. Everyone returns. Naruto turned away first. Not me, he said. A message hit Huey's phone that evening. Come alone, you want answers. Huey stared at it until Annie snatched the phone and read it too. Newman, Annie said, voice tight. Shook his head. No. Butcher shrugged. Yes. Naruto watched Huey's face. Huey wanted to help. Huey also looked like a rabbit walking toward a fox. I'm going, Huey said, trying to sound brave. Naruto stepped in. I'm going with you, he said. Huey flinched. She said alone. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Then it's a trap. They met in a quiet parking garage under a clean building. Newman waited by a black car, smiling like this was friendly. Huey, she said warmly, you look stressed. Huey forced a laugh. Busy. Newman's eyes flicked to the shadows. She was checking corners. Naruto stepped out anyway. Newman's smile stayed, but it thinned. And you must be the guest, she said. Naruto didn't smile. You're lying, he said. Newman blinked once. That's a bold start. You want control, Naruto said, not safety. Newman's eyes cooled. Then she sighed like she'd gotten tired of pretending. Fine, she said. I want control, because Vought is chaos. Homelander is chaos. If someone doesn't steer this, it burns. Naruto shook his head. Steering with fear is still wrong. Newman's smile vanished. You're new here, she said softly. This place will chew you up. Naruto's voice stayed flat. It already tried, he said. It lost. Newman looked at Naruto for a long moment. Then she smiled again, smaller and sharper. When you're desperate, she said, you'll remember my offer. Naruto turned away. Huey followed, heart pounding. Naruto didn't look back, but he felt it. Newman wasn't scared of him. She was measuring him. Like Edgar, like a tool. That night, Naruto dreamed of home. Not war, not training, just a street in Konoha, with warm light in a window. Then the air turned cold, and the dream street split like glass. Momoshiki stepped through the crack like he owned it. You refuse their leash, Momoshiki said. Good. Naruto tensed. Get out of my head. This is the space between worlds, Momoshiki said, smiling. And you want a door. Behind Momoshiki, Konoha's gate appeared for 1 second, clear and bright. Naruto's breath caught. I can open the path, Momoshiki said gently. Bring me what I need, and you go home. Naruto's throat tightened. What do you need? Momoshiki's smile widened. The crude power, he said. The drug that makes their heroes. Bring it. Bring me their source. Naruto's fists clenched. Compound V. Momoshiki nodded. Yes. Feed me, and I give you your village back. Naruto saw a kid strapped to a chair. Needles. Blank eyes. He looked back at Momoshiki. No. Momoshiki's smile faltered. Just a little. Then the hunger showed through. "This world will make you desperate," he said. "I can wait. I have your thread. I have your scent." Naruto's eyes widened. Momoshiki leaned close, voice like ice. "Across any world." Naruto woke up with his heart pounding, breathing hard in the dark cabin. He sat still and listened. The camp was quiet, but the storm was coming. A week later, Vought rolled out a new story. Every channel showed a heroic rescue. They said Vought had saved children from terrorists. They showed crying kids on camera and called them victims of the unknown threat. Then they put Ryan on a stage. Small shoulders, forced smile, bright lights. Homelander stood beside him like a statue, hand on Ryan's shoulder like ownership. Naruto watched from the camp's old TV, jaw tight. Annie's voice shook with anger. "They're using him." Frenchie tapped a map on his laptop. "Warehouse district," he said. "Controlled, easy cameras, easy exits for them." MM's eyes narrowed. "And easy cages." Naruto closed his eyes. He reached out with Chakra, searching. His face hardened. "Hostages," he said. "Kids, not just Ryan." Butcher loaded his gun. "Good. Then we go." Naruto turned to him. "We rescue," Naruto said. "No killing." Butcher's smile was thin. "We'll see." The warehouse smelled like oil and cold metal. The lights inside were too bright, like a studio pretending to be a rescue. Upstairs, children sat on pallets with zip ties on their wrists. A few sobbed. A few stared at nothing. Cameras were pointed at them like they were props. Ryan stood near Homelander, eyes wide and scared. Naruto's team slipped in through a side door. Frenchie and Huey set up a small transmitter in the van outside. "Not their channel," Frenchie whispered. "Everywhere else." Huey nodded, hands shaking. "Please work." Inside, Naruto breathed once and made clones. They flowed into the building in silence. Then the rescue started. Zip ties snapped. Kids got lifted and carried. Clones moved them toward exits like a fast river. A Vought producer shouted, "What's happening?" Homelander's head snapped toward the shadows. His smile vanished. "There you are," he said, voice low and pleased, like he'd been waiting. Naruto stepped into the open, between Homelander and the kids. "Let them go," Naruto said. Homelander laughed. "You think you're a hero," he said, "but you're just another freak stealing my world." Ryan's eyes flicked to Naruto, like he was seeing something real for the first time. Homelander saw that look, and his face twisted. Heat vision fired. Naruto moved in front, chakra flaring just enough to catch the beam and bend it up into the roof. Metal smoked. Nobody died. Homelander roared and flew at Naruto like a missile. The hit cracked the floor. Crates jumped. Dust burst. Naruto slid back a few feet digging in, but he stayed upright. Homelander froze for half a second, shocked that the hit didn't win. Naruto struck back, controlled but heavy. One hit to the ribs, one to the jaw. Homelander flew into a pillar and dented it. Gasps rose from the press chairs. Phones caught the moment. Frenchie's stream caught it too. Homelander's eyes widened, then burned with rage. "Stop!" he screamed. Naruto's voice stayed steady. "Then stop hurting people." Butcher raised his gun behind them. A Naruto clone slapped it down without looking. Butcher snarled, "Move!" Naruto didn't turn his head. "Not!" he said. Homelander laughed, sharp. "Oh, I love this. Your friends have rules." Then Homelander grabbed Ryan and yanked him close, too hard. "Save him," Homelander said, smiling for the cameras again. "Be the hero." Naruto's chest tightened. "Let him go." Homelander's eyes glowed. "Make me." Naruto looked at Ryan, gentle. "Move when I say," he told him. Ryan nodded, tiny. Naruto moved like a blink, not brute force, pure speed and angles. He appeared behind Homelander, then in front, forcing Homelander's eyes to chase. Heat vision fired wild. Each time, Naruto bent it away from Ryan and away from the escaping kids. Then Naruto was beside Ryan. He pulled Ryan away in one smooth motion and set him behind Annie's arms. "Now," Naruto said. Annie grabbed Ryan and ran with him toward the exit. Homelander screamed. He lunged after them. Naruto stepped in front and stopped him with both hands. Chakra arms flared out, bright and solid, wrapping Homelander's torso like giant hands. Homelander thrashed, furious. He fired heat vision wildly, slicing crates and burning metal. Naruto tightened the hold and kept his body between the beams and everyone else. On the stream, people heard Homelander's words. "I am control," Homelander screamed, face twisted. Naruto shouted back, loud enough for every camera still alive. "Look at him! This is your hero!" Outside, Vought vans screamed into the district. Sirens filled the air. MM's voice boomed from the stairwell. "We're out! Move!" Kids poured through exits, guided by clones. Huey stumbled in with the transmitter bag, pale but moving. Frenchie hissed, "It's still live." Naruto looked at Homelander pinned in his chakra arms. He could crush. He could end it. But he saw the kids' faces. Ryan's shaking hands. Annie's eyes. If he killed Homelander on camera, the world would not learn peace. It would learn blood. Naruto's jaw tightened. He slammed Homelander down hard enough to crack concrete and knock the wind out of him. Then he released the chakra arms and stepped back, stance ready, eyes cold. Homelander coughed, stunned. Naruto leaned close, voice low, only for Homelander. "You're strong," Naruto said, "but you're small." Homelander's eyes burned. Naruto turned and sprinted after his team. Homelander rose, shaking with rage, and blasted the nearest camera into melted scrap. Too late. The stream was already out. The van tore away into the night. Behind them, Homelander hovered above the warehouse, furious and humiliated, while Vought helicopters circled him like handlers circling a dog. Back at the camp, Annie sat by Ryan's door like a guard who refused to sleep. Ryan finally slept with his face turned to the wall, shoulders tight, even in dreams. Huey sat on the cabin steps with Naruto, blanket around his shoulders. "You could have killed him," Huey said quietly. Naruto nodded. "Yes." "And you didn't," Huey said. "No," Naruto replied. Huey swallowed. "Why?" Naruto stared out at the trees. "Because if I do it like that," he said, "I teach this world that power decides everything." Huey's voice was small. "Doesn't it?" Naruto looked at him, eyes steady. "It tries," he said, "but it doesn't have to." Behind them, Butcher stepped out, cigarette unlit between his fingers. He stared at Naruto for a long moment. "You made him hesitate," Butcher said. Naruto frowned, because of Ryan. Butcher's jaw worked. "Yeah," he said, "because of the kid." Naruto nodded once. "Then we protect him," he said. Butcher looked away, anger and something bitter mixing in his face. "You're going to get yourself killed," he muttered. Naruto's voice stayed calm. "Maybe," he said, "but not today." Butcher let out a rough laugh and went back inside. Naruto listened to the night. Far away, beyond the trees, the city kept shouting and selling and lying. He didn't know how to go home yet. He didn't know when Momoshiki would strike. But he knew what he chose. He chose the kids. He chose not to become a monster. And the world would have to deal with that. Weeks passed, and the rumor changed shape. People whispered about a blonde stranger who showed up before disasters, pulled someone from a burning car, then vanished. Some said he was a ghost. Some said he was a weapon. A few said the word people almost forgot. Hero. Naruto didn't chase the rumor. He worked. He ran rescue runs with clones so fast most cameras only caught a blur. He moved kids from one safe place to another. He taught them how to breathe when panic hit. He taught them how to look for exits and how to stay together. Simple things, that made fear smaller. Ryan stayed quiet at first. He ate when Annie told him to eat. He slept when his body gave up. He flinched when anyone raised a voice. One morning, Naruto found Ryan sitting on the cabin steps, staring at his own hands like he didn't trust them. Naruto sat beside him, not too close. "You okay?" Naruto asked. Ryan didn't look up. "Everyone keeps telling me what I am," he said. Naruto nodded slowly. "Yeah," he said. "I know that feeling." Ryan finally glanced at him. "What are you?" he asked, small and honest. Naruto smiled a little. "I'm Naruto," he said, "and I decide what that means." Ryan stared at him like he was trying to copy the idea. Naruto held out his hand. "Breathe with me," he said. They did it together. In, hold, out. Ryan's shoulders dropped a tiny bit. Across the camp, Butcher watched from a doorway, face hard like always. But his eyes didn't look away. Not this time. The world kept trying to pull the camp apart. Vought put up new billboards, new slogans, new safety programs. They blamed terrorists for their own cages. They promised protection with clean smiles. And they sent paper. Once, a messenger left a fancy envelope at the road again. Gold seal. Neat letters. Frenchie opened it and groaned. "Another contract," he said. Naruto looked at it like it was a bug. "Why do they love paper so much?" he asked. Huey shrugged from behind a stack of blankets. "Because paper is cheaper than being good." Naruto took the envelope, walked to the fire pit, and dropped it in. It burned fast. Frenchie blinked. "That's it?" Naruto dusted off his hands. "That's it," he said. Huey laughed once, surprised at himself. It felt good to laugh for a second. But the danger didn't go away. In a clean office, a thick file landed on a desk. Chakra subject N. Pages of notes. Grainy images. Bad guesses. Better guesses. A plan growing teeth. In another clean room, Homelander watched the leaked warehouse clip on a monitor with the sound off. His own face froze in a frame where his smile had cracked. He stared at it like it was an enemy. Then he smashed the screen with one punch and stood there breathing hard, alone, pretending the break fixed something inside him. Somewhere else, a young soup in training raised a fist at a smaller kid who couldn't fight back. He stopped. Not because a teacher yelled. Because he remembered a story he heard in a whisper. A stranger who didn't hit the weak. A stranger who pulled people out and didn't ask for applause. The fist lowered. That was small. But small things were how change started. On a cold night, Annie asked Naruto to walk with her. They climbed to a rooftop over the city. Not too high. Not too close to the bright Vought towers. Just high enough to see the skyline. The street below was loud. A helicopter passed like a bored insect. A Vought ad flashed on a building and then switched to another one, like the city couldn't sit still. Annie held a cheap coffee for warmth. Naruto didn't seem to notice the cold at all. "I used to think," Annie said quietly, "if people saw the truth, they'd choose it." Naruto looked at her. "Some will," he said. Annie let out a small laugh. "Even now you say that." Naruto nodded. "Because it's true," he said. "Not everyone changes, but some do. And that's enough." Annie's eyes stayed on the city. "Do you miss home?" Naruto's chest tightened. He looked up at the dark sky. "Yes," he said. "Every day." Annie nodded, like she expected that answer. Naruto's voice got quieter. "But people here need help," he said. "And right now, I'm here." Annie breathed out slow. "So you're staying?" Naruto didn't make it dramatic. He just nodded once. Far away, in a place with no billboards and no laws, a small tear shimmered in the air like a blink. A hungry eye looked through. Momoshiki smiled in the cracks between worlds, patient as hunger. Back on the rooftop, Naruto watched the city lights, like trapped stars behind glass. He breathed in, hold, out. Then he said, simple and clear, I'm not done.